don't know if you have seen this recently, but I have certainly seen it in my YouTube feed. Apparently, everybody involved in real estate is putting out videos that says, "I'm selling everything." I don't get it. I don't understand it. Feels like people are trying to time the market. So, let's just have an honest conversation about one rental at a time, what hopefully you have been doing over the last 2 or 3 years of this channel. And really talk about, I'm not selling anything. This is not the time, if you have built a portfolio of one rental at a time, if you have gotten fixed rate debt, if you have recycled capital when we told you to, this is not the time to sell anything. That is crazy advice. What I thought I would do is we would go through an example together about a property and talk about just how stupid selling one of our one rental at a time properties would be. It is horrible advice. And yes, folks, in my example, I will assume you time the market perfectly. So walk through this with me to understand how stupid it would be to sell a rental home that cash flows day one, that has fixed rate debt under 4%. Okay, so in order to do this, we have to assume we bought something. So in this example, we are going to assume we bought a $200,000 investment property. Is it a house? Is it a duplex? Is it a tri? Is it a quad? Who cares? $200,000. Now, when you bought this thing in 2018 or 19 or whatever year you want to assume, you had to get a 25% down loan, okay? So you had to put $50,000 down. Okay, that's the down payment. So you got a loan of 150 grand. Because you follow one rental at a time, you know the only thing we get is 30-year fixed rate debt. And in this example, I'm going to assume you got a 3.5% fixed mortgage. That payment equals, I have notes here because I did the math, $674. Let's assume you have $250 in taxes and insurance. Again, the 674 is principal and interest fixed for the life of the loan. Let's assume you have $250 a month in taxes and insurance. This means your payment is, I wrote it down, $924, right? Yep, $924. You with me so far? Again, what are we doing in this example? We are saying sell nothing. I've seen lots of people say, hey, time to sell everything. That's horrible advice, assuming one rental at a time, fixed rate debt, cash flow day one. Let's continue. Now let's assume you have, just for easy math, you have $476 in everything else. Property management, reserves, expenses, whatever, right? Let's assume 50% more in expenses. All right, so that means your total is, that's 0, 0, 1. Oh, comma's in the wrong place. So that's $1,400. Your cost to own this piece of rental property is $1,400 a month. And just for grins, let me get a different color. Let's assume your rent is $1,750. Okay, so in this example, again, please do yours. You are making $350 a month in cash flow. $350 a month equals $4,200 a year. So cash flow equals $350 a month or $4,200 a year. Okay? What else do we want to know about this? Well, if you follow one rental at a time, you know that there's only one number that matters. Let's get a third color. What the heck? And that is yield. So again, you have 4,200 divided by this example, just 50K cash equals 8.4, right? Yep, 8.4. Now, before you light me up, I know there's closing costs and all of that. This is a simple example. You insert anything you want into this story. It doesn't matter. It is a bad idea to sell a cash flow rental property today. So, okay, that's great, Michael. Thank you for doing that. But hey, I want to sell and I made some money. Well, great. Let's assume you have had 50% appreciation. 50. This $200,000 house is now worth 300. You are chomping at the bit. You want that 100 grand. You want to go blow it on a new car or whatever you want to do. You want that money. Okay? Well, let's talk about it, right? If you are going to sell it today, it is not a seller's market. I think that is fair. Let's just assume you sell it. You have to pay 6% in transaction fees or 18,000. And again, I know it's more than 6%. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. 6% here is commission fees, or if you want to do 5 and 1 in closing, who cares? Let's also not forget, buyers today want you to chip in 3% of selling costs, right? You're going to pay the closing costs for the buyer. Maybe you're going to buy down their rate, whatever. You're going to lose 18 grand to selling costs. You are going to lose 9 grand to the buyer. All right, so that $100,000 profit is now $73,000, right? You get me? 100 minus these equals 73,000. Let's not forget, Uncle Sam wants his 20%. Let's assume you're at an income bracket where you pay capital gains of 20% versus ordinary income. You are going to pay taxes of $14,600. Isn't this fun? So at the end of the day, you end up with $58,400 in profit, like money you could spend. Plus, let's not forget, your 50K comes back to you. So congratulations. Congratulations. You turned your 50 grand into $108,000 for $108,400. But remember, we are trying to time the market. We are going to sell this asset at the peak and we're going to buy it back. That's the story, right? So let's assume now, what do I want to keep? Let's keep all that. So let's assume you're right and you buy the exact same house back for 270 grand. Congratulations. You put 100 grand in your pocket. 50 of it was yours already, so you really put an extra 58 in your pocket. But now you want to go back and buy that house back because you are a landlord. You are trying to build cash flow. Well, now you get to see how painful this is. So again, I have the numbers here. Let me look at them. So you're going to put 100K down, right? Because you're going to use most of this. You're going to keep 8 grand and blow it on whatever you'd like. So you're going to put 108K down, 170K loan. But unlike the last one, which you had an asset at 3.5, you now have to get it at 6.5. 6.5%, which makes your payment 1,075. You're going to add $275 in taxes and insurance, which is going to equal $1,350. Then you're going to add $500 in other expenses. You're now at $1,850. If this thing still rented at $1,750, you are losing money. Let's assume rents went up. Let's assume rents went up to $18.50. Well, congratulations. You are earning a big fat zero on your asset. You timed the market. Congratulations. You're making zero. How silly is it to sell when you have a cash flowing fixed rate debt asset? It makes no sense to sell. Here is another thing. So again, you get this, right? We bought it, appreciation happened, inflation happened. I got a fixed rate debt. I'm making 8% the first way. I timed the market perfectly. I get a 10% cheaper price, but my debt goes from 3.5 to 6.5. I just spent all that money on taxes for no reason. I took an asset that produced 8%, now produces zero. I gave $14,000 to the IRS. I gave $18,000 to real estate agents, and I went backwards. Dumb. But here's another thing. Let's do this. Let's get rid of all this. So here's the real meat of this story. $100. This is the real problem in what we just went through. A $100 rise in cash flow, or in rent is very meaningful in scenario A and half as good in scenario B. Let's just do the math together. So in this example, we're just going to assume, again, not to split hairs, but this is an extra $1,200 a month in cash flow. We're just going to assume it falls to the bottom line. In scenario one, that $1,200 or that $1,200 equals plus 2.4%. Scenario two, remember, scenario two, you timed the market perfectly. You sold at 300, you bought at 270, you dummy. Don't do that. What happens here is every extra dollar is only worth 1.2%, or every $100 is 1.2%. Folks, what you have today, again, the Fed broke housing, no question. They broke housing. I get it. It's not our job to say that was wrong. It was our job over the 2 years is to get low fixed rate debt. When you can get an investment loan like the last couple of years at 3.5%, you should never sell it. It doesn't matter. Even if you time the market and it went down 10%, you're still losing. You're losing. Do the math. Transaction costs, taxes, opportunity costs. This is not including depreciation recapture and all the transaction costs and all of those things. So let me be very clear. I am not selling anything. If you've watched my channel for the last couple of years, I worked very hard to get all of my houses on 30-year fixed rate debt. I even brought on non-QM lenders who helped me get my apartments and my office building at 3.99. Everything is 30-year fixed rate debt on purpose. I am not selling. Why would you sell? Taxes, depreciation recapture. I can't get that rate ever again, potentially. It makes no sense to sell. So let me be clear. I am not selling anything. I would suspect most one rental at a time fans, fixed rate debt, cash flow day one, you're not selling either. If you are trying to time the market, you still lose. Do the math. I don't get it. I don't know why all of these channels are putting out videos saying selling everything. It doesn't make mathematical sense. So hopefully this made sense. Leave comments below. We will do the daily financial news shortly. Bye-bye.